Hey, how's it, YouTube? Okay, I am going to make today my family's favorite loaf of bread. It is honey buttermilk bread, and it is amazing. It is so soft and it's got this sweet flavor to it, but the buttermilk just really adds, oh my gosh, it just adds a whole nother level. Making this is a little bit more complex than making just a, like a simple loaf of bread. But I guarantee you guys, it is so worth the extra steps. Now, we're going to make this. This is going to make 2 loaves of bread. It's not going to be a really high, lofty bread. But it is incredible. My kids absolutely go insane when I make it. I don't make it as often as I do like just the regular sandwich bread, just because it does have so many extra steps to it. And it goes so fast in this house. But tonight I'm going to make the 2 loaves. I'm going to slice it up. I'm going to end up melting half butter with some olive oil with a little bit of garlic and some chives and some parsley. I'm going to baste it on this bread, and then I'm going to toast it in the oven. And I'm going to serve barbecued pulled pork chicken, or not pulled pork, barbecued pulled chicken on this bread tonight as like a garlicky buttermilk bread sandwich. So and I'll probably serve it open faced. Anyway, so that's what I'm making. Baby's down for a nap. I think my husband's coming home from work to fix my washer because my agitator broke. So I'm going to try to get this started before my house starts turning into chaos and the kids start coming home from school and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to grab a 1/4 cup of warm water here. So we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water, very, very little. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. It's 2 teaspoons of your yeast. I'll grab that out. Okay. 1, 2. And then to that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sugar, which I have my sugar bowl over here. So teaspoon of sugar. And I'm going to have this will be, I'll leave a link down below to my blog where this recipe, I believe I already have it posted. I've just never made a video on it. So, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to add a pinch of ginger to this. And it's supposed to help the rise. You're not really going to like taste ginger. But I don't know. I think it does add to the flavor. It's very little. I'm just going to add probably, oh, that's less than 1/8, but you know, just a little pinch. Can you guys see that? It's just a little pinch on there. Just a little. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my whisk I used for my buttermilk, and I'm just going to whisk that together a little bit on the bottom of my bowl. Nothing fancy. We don't do fancy schmancy here. Okay. And now I'm just going to let that sit for 5 minutes. Which is great because my husband's calling me. So I'm going to take a little phone break. 5 minutes. I'm going to set it on the timer. And in 5 minutes I will be back and show you the next step. Alright guys, so it's been 5 minutes. I'm just going to try to aim you down and in here a little bit better. You can kind of see it a little bit better. Alright, so it's been sitting there, and I don't know if you can tell. You can see in there. Do you see how like frothy it is and fluffy? Do you see that? Okay, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so it's not like when we make typical bread and it's just still all kind of liquidy and watery. This is like frothy. So that's good. That's what we want. That's what we want to see. So the next step we're going to do is we are going to add, and what is this? It's 2 cups of warm buttermilk. You don't want it too warm because you don't want to kill your yeast, but you don't want it cold or cool. So we're going to add 2 cups of warm buttermilk. And then we are going to add a 1/2 cup of honey. And this is where the oh so goodness comes from. You guys are going to love this bread. Like I said, it's extra steps, but it is so worth it. I'm going to try to scoop out, see if I can scoop out any more. I am not like my husband. My husband's good with his left and his right hand. Me, not so much. I'm a hot mess. Alright, so there is honey. Gone ahead and made a little mess. Okay, then we're going to add salt. Let's see how much salt we're adding. 1 teaspoon. Get out my salt here. I'm just going to sprinkle 1 teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon and then a 1/4 teaspoon. Get this leveled out here. There's a 1/2 teaspoon. And here is my 1/4. Alright. And what I'm going to do is just lift this up, and I'm just going to mix this just a little bit. Just to kind of incorporate it a little, and you can see how bubbly and frothy and wonderful it is. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to add 3 cups of our flour. Now total we're going to add 6 cups. But we're going to add 3 cups first, and then we're going to mix it for 5 minutes. Then we're going to go ahead and incorporate the other ones. And for this, I am using bread flour. You can use all-purpose if you want, but I find it turns out really good with the bread flour. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're just going to mix this now for 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer, and then when this is done mixing, I will bring you back and we'll continue on. And there we go. Okay guys, so there we have 5 minutes. Now what we're going to do is we are going to add a 1/4 cup of melted butter. Now you want this warm, but you don't want it hot because you don't want to kill your yeast. We're going to go ahead and just add that butter in there. See if I can scoop it all out. And then we're going to just go ahead and just mix this up just a little bit. Just to kind of get it spread around a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the remaining 3 cups of flour, but we're going to do it 1 cup at a time here. Okay, and we're going to do it after we add the 3rd cup. We're just going to do it until we start seeing the dough pull away from the bowl, and once we see that, we're going to remove it from the bowl and we're going to take it over to our bread board, to our kneading board, and finish it up there. So turning this back on, I'm just going to add the remaining 3 cups. starting to get cleaned up here. And there's our 3. Gonna wait until that's kind of incorporated a bit more. There we go, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna stop it there, and you can see that it's super soft. This is a really, really soft, tender bread dough. It's amazing, and you'll see it's super sticky. So our normal, guide of, where you don't want it sticky, that's not the case with this one. So I'm going to pull my hook out, and now I'm going to just take this over to my board, and then I'm going to move you guys over, and then using my scraper, I'm just going to go ahead and scrape all of this out of my bowl here and onto my board. And remember, it's going to be sticky. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and just get my hands full of flour here so I can kind of knead this dough by hand and incorporate all the pieces to it. And we're just going to knead this until it's nice and elasticy, and it has a really good feel to it. I think I need all that flour. If you put too much on your board, just scoop it away. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this right on my countertop because I can just push harder. Now, as you're working this, you're going to see it's getting pretty lumpy, pretty ugly, and it's going to start feeling sticky on you again. But that's okay, as long as it's not sticking to you. It's okay if it's sticky. Remember, we have quite a bit of honey in this. So it is going to be more of a sticky dough. I'm going to keep kneading this. Okay. So after you've been kneading it for a couple minutes, it should start to smooth itself out a bit. Okay, now if you find that you can't do this by hand, like my arms right now are killing me, my wrists are killing me, go ahead and throw it back into your KitchenAid mixer and just use that. To me, sometimes it's really it's really therapeutic to do it by hand, but I know that's not an option for everybody. Trust me, on some days it is not an option for me. I still sometimes like to do it by hand just because what if I'm ever left without power? It's not something that I don't want to be able to do. You know, or to depend so much on my KitchenAid mixer. And remember, this is going to be a sticky dough, so when you peel it off, especially when you've used up all the flour like I have, it might stick a little to your board or to your counter. So anyway, that's good enough for me. We are now going to put it in a bowl, and I'm going to spray it. You can use olive oil if you want, use your misto if you have it. I'm just going to spray it with some nonstick spray, and we're just going to go ahead and drop this dough ball. Okay, I like to pull and tuck, and I'm going to drop it right inside. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then I'm going to spray the top just so that it doesn't dry out. I'm going to cover this with a cloth, or you can cover it with saran wrap if you want. Actually, saran wrap works really good because it like holds in the moisture. Let me see. I'll grab that out. And this one's going to take a little bit longer to rise. This is going to be an hour and a half. Okay, so definitely a bread dough that you have to have some patience with. So we're just going to put the wrap on there. It's going to rise pretty slowly. Alright. And then I'm going to set this in my oven with the light on for an hour and a half. I'll set my timer with you guys. And in an hour and a half, I will come back. We will divide this up and get it into loaf pans, and we'll be on to the second rise. All right, guys, I will be back. All right, guys, so it has been an hour and a half, and here is our dough. Peel that off and punch down our dough.
What's the pain in the butt?
And you're gonna notice when you punch down this dough, it's gonna be a lot stiffer than our normal bread dough, which is a lot lighter and fluffier. So I'm just going to spread this out. I still have just a little bit of flour up on here. I'll lay it out, press it out, and get all the air bubbles out of it. Now, I want to divide this in half. So let me get my cutter here. Cut this right in half. Alright. Let's move this one here. And I've got this one. Okay. I just like to try to shape it into pretty equal size here. Okay, then I'm gonna just roll it up and pinch the seam together, push in the center, seal up the end. Okay, and then I'm going to spray into my hands here, and I'm going to drop my dough right inside. down, put it into my pan. Now this is gonna rise, a second rise for 45 minutes. Then after the second rise, we're gonna bake this in a 400-degree oven for a half hour. So again, slow rising bread and all of that wonderfulness. Okay, so get that up, wipe down. I want this one, which I'm just going to just kind of shape so it's even. I'm going to roll it, pinch up the seam, tuck in the end. Okay. Spray this in the pan. Go ahead and put my bread dough in it. Press it down and shape it. Which I always just like to tuck in the edges, just so that it has a nice rise in the center. Okay, so again, this isn't going to be really high, lofty bread. This is going to pinch out any air bubbles you might have. This is going to be slow rising bread. It's not going to be real lofty, but it is going to be extremely tender and soft, and the crumb is going to be beautiful. And very, very excited because this bread is amazing. So I'm going to spray the top. I am probably not going to put plastic wrap back on it. I'm just going to cover it with a cotton towel. I'm going to place it on top of my stove. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 400 degrees. I'm going to let these rise another 45 minutes. I'll set my timer with you guys. Okay, and when 45 minutes is up, I will show you what it looks like after the second rise, and then we will put it in the oven and bake it. And I'm just going to lay this on top of my warming oven, just because the heat will do it some good. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will see you back here in 45 minutes. Are you trying to watch too? Are you getting your stool? Oh, you wanna see what Mama's baking? Hi! I've got a nursing stool that I use. Look up at the camera, honey. Say hi. Hi. Oh, you want to help me? You want to help me? Okay, come around here. Come around here. Although I'm not really doing anything. The bread's all done. We're just going to show everybody what the bread looks like after it's risen. See? Now you guys see that it's not, let's see, get it shaped over here. Yeah, it's bread. You see that it hasn't risen. It's not high and lofty. This one's a little bit more higher, probably had a little bit more dough in it, but it's not a really high, lofty bread. But it's risen now for the second rise, 45 minutes. I'm going to put it in a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. And when I bring it back out, you keep your good hands off my bread. When it comes out of the oven, in a half hour, I will show you guys what it looks like. And then I will probably take you into the process of making dinner and showing how I'm going to serve it. So, alright guys, I will be back as soon as this is done baking. Say bye. Hey, say bye. Hey, bye. Hey, bye. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, okay. You're so you just want to see? It's going to be hot, so you got to be careful, okay? No touchy when Mama takes these out. Alright, so my timer just went off. Let me pull these out of the oven. And looks incredible. Okay, don't touchy though, because it's hot. It's so hot, honey. All right, so there is my bread. Let me get it zoomed in here. You guys can see it. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and melt some. You don't even have to melt it. It's just taking butter from the stick. I'm gonna let these cool in the pan for about 10 minutes before I take them out. And then I'll show you what I do then. Right now, I'm just going to top it with some butter. Like so. And this just softens up the top. You don't have to add this if you don't want. And it'll leave the top a bit crunchier. Whichever way you like. And that's it. So, there is my bread. I'm going to let that cool for, like I said, about 10 minutes. So I'm going to pop it out. And then I'll let it cool a little bit more. Meantime, I'm going to get started on making my pot of barbecue sauce. Get my chicken pulled apart and added to it. And then I'm going to, once this cools, come back, slice it up. Then I'm going to add melted butter and some oil, some garlic, some chives and some parsley to it. Coat both sides with a pastry brush and bake them in the oven to toast them up. And I'm going to use that as the base of my pulled barbecue chicken sandwiches for dinner. So when I get to that part, I will come back and just show you guys. But you can definitely stop here, slice it up, use it for sandwiches. It's really good as cinnamon toast in the morning. Just toast it, add some butter, sprinkle some cinnamon and sugar on it. It's really good. But the house smells amazing, doesn't it, honey?
Yes, it does.
It definitely has more, what would you call it, like a stronger scent. It smells more like, it smells more like bread than when you actually just bake a loaf of plain bread. And I don't know if it's the buttermilk. Yeah, I mean, just it's very strong. So,
It's really like walking into a bakery.
so if you want that really good home baked bread scent in your house, bake up a couple loaves of these because they're incredible and they've got a sweetness to them. The buttermilk and the honey just is such a phenomenal combination, and it's such a soft and tender bread. So anyway, I'll stop ranting about this bread because I absolutely love it. Out of all the bread I've made so far, this is my favorite. This is my family's favorite. These 2 loaves will be gone tonight. I'm not even kidding you. Every time I bake it, the kids just eat it up. They just put butter on it and just eat a slice of bread. So they would rather that than chips when I bake this. So it's phenomenal. If you guys give it a try, let me know. But I will come back and show you how I serve it up for dinner. Alright, be back. Okay, so it's been a few minutes and I figured I would just show you what it looks like out of the pan. And the crust on it, it's beautiful. So definitely hollow, definitely beautiful. The honey gives this bread a really beautiful brown color. It's not burnt or anything like that. It's just more brown just because I think it's the the honey just gives it that golden color, but it's so good, so good, so good, so good. Anyway, that's what it looks like out of the pans. So I'm just gonna let that cool up before I slice it up and put it in the oven. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm gonna slice this up. Start with the first slice. And let's see if you can see that. Just so you can see the inside of that bread. It is beautiful. It smells beautiful. Now I'm going to do these slices a little on the thick side because I am topping it with barbecued pulled chicken. And I kind of want them to hold a lot of sauce and to hold the chicken. But let's see if you can see that. Hopefully. There you go. You can see the crumb on it there. It's beautiful. It's still very warm. Again, this bread takes a while to make, so be prepared. I wanted to start it this morning, but like I said, my washer broke and a whole number of other things that kind of got me behind schedule a bit. So I wasn't able to start it till early this afternoon. But if you can make this bread beforehand, so it can cool completely, it would be better. So I'm gonna go get a cookie sheet. There's my bread all on cookie sheet. And this just seems so bright. Let me tone it down. Alright, so there we have it. Zoom in so you can watch. I'm gonna move this over on the rack. Alright guys, like I said, I don't really measure anything when I go along here. This is about 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And to it, I'm just going to add some olive oil. Okay. And then to that, I'm going to add some parsley. And I just eyeball it. Just eyeball it. And I'm going to add some granulated garlic. Probably about, it's probably about a half teaspoon. Maybe a teaspoon. And I'm just going to, sorry for my neighbor's dog. Alright, and then there's my little mixture concoction. And now I'm just going to go ahead and brush this on my bread. And what I'm going to do real fast is just flip it over. I squirted a little bit more oil in there just so that I hopefully have enough. And then I'm going to put this in the oven. Well, I've got French fries in there right now. But I'll probably bake this at about 375 to 400 depending on your oven. Only for like 5 to 7 minutes. It's really only to toast it up. And then I will serve the barbecue chicken over it. And so when I get to that point, I will come back and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, just to show you guys
That's where we.
what the bread ends up looking like. Remember, it's very heavy, it's very dense. It's toasted on both sides. And then what I did is I just poured the barbecued pulled chicken on top. It's a little french fries with some mozzarella cheese and some seasoning salts and homemade canned green beans. So there you have it. Something very easy and something that you can use that bread for. It's very good, it's very filling, it's very dense, but very sweet. You guys like the bread? Everyone's eating, so everyone's silent. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this bread recipe. If you try it, let me know down below what you think. And like I said, I will leave the link to my blog with this recipe posted over there. Alright, bye.